New York Knicks have been one of the teams that have been mainly involved in trying to trade for Utah Jazz superstar Donovan Mitchell. And the Jazz and Danny Ainge's asking price is just outrageous. He is asking for a combination of young assets, young players, and draft picks. And the amount of draft picks is crazy. 7 draft picks. He's on that same timing that he was in Boston when they blew up the KG, Paul Pierce, and Rondo, where they got a whole lot of stuff back from the Brooklyn Nets. And that, what they got back, was draft assets and guys like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Now listen, I get what Danny Ainge is doing, but brother asking for way too much. And for the Knicks, personally, they have the assets to do it. Now, there are many people in the media saying the Knicks should go out and get this trade. Go get this young superstar who's entering his prime, who can easily elevate your roster. And I'm still on the fence on it. Listen, Donovan Mitchell, if he gets traded to New York, immediately makes the Knicks a really good team, without a doubt. You add Donovan Mitchell to a core that has RJ Barrett, who ascended last season, Julius Randle, who still go out there and get you 20 and 10 a night, Mitchell Robinson, and a bunch of other solid role players like Evan Fournier and Derrick Rose, still will make the Knicks definitely one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. Similar to how DeMar DeRozan turned the Bulls into a playoff team last year. At the same time, the Knicks have believe it or not, the Knicks have one of the better young cores in the league. When I'm watching Summer League and I'm watching Quentin Grimes play, I'm like, he looks really good. Like, I can see him starting next year. And I can see him thriving in a starting role. And they have, like I said, have RJ who ascended last year. You have Mitch and Jericho Sims, who both showed that they can be really good defensive anchors for any team. You have Quickly, who's a fun backup point guard, who could probably start for you in some spot situations. Do you want to blow up that young core? If anything, I'm the Knicks. I would lean to playing the young core, trading Fournier, waiving Derrick Rose, seeing what you get from Randle, potentially playing that young core and maybe bottom out next year, and trying to land Victor Wembanyama. I can never say his name correctly. Victor Wembanyama. Wembanyama is projected to go number 1, and that's probably what the Jazz are trying to do. That's what the Spurs are trying to do. But he's projected to be what many people believe is a generational talent. Yeah, you can get Donovan Mitchell, who's 25. He's going to probably help you win 45 games. Probably help you win 50 games. But Victor Wembanyama in the Garden, a player who's potentially to be a generational talent? When's the last time the Knicks had a generational talent? Patrick Ewing? That was the 1990s. This is 2022. We're seeing what's going on with the Yankees right now. The Yankees are really, really good. They lost to the Mets last night. But it's a strong chance there might be a parade in the Bronx in October. I want there to be a parade on 34th Street next year. Well, not next year, but in the near future, I want there to be a parade. Victor Wembanyama, if he's projected to be as good as many believe, then why not the Knicks try to bottom out for him? And it just makes too much sense. You already have a really fun young core that Knicks fans love. I go on Twitter, Knicks fans love Grimes, they love RJ, they love Mitch, they love Jericho, they love Quickly, they love Obi. I didn't even mention Obi Toppin, who bowled out towards the second half of the season last year. You add a generational talent to that core, it would probably be like the Lakers when they had D'Angelo Russell, had Lonzo Ball, they had Brandon Ingram, they had Nance, they had Jordan Clarkson. But at the same time, this Knicks team ceiling is way higher than that Lakers team, which didn't stay together long enough to actually do something. But this young core that the Knicks have, I really like. And I'm for potentially trading assets and some young core pieces to get Donovan Mitchell. I didn't even mention Jalen Brunson, who's a really good player, by the way, also. But at the same time, bottom them up to get a player who's generational talent and playing your young guys, starting your young guys, giving up Fournier, Randall, Rose for more assets and younger players doesn't sound like a bad idea for the Knicks either. But Knicks fans are probably gonna tear me up saying, "Oh, you don't want us to trade for Donovan Mitchell." No. I'm not saying I don't want you to trade for Donovan Mitchell. I'm just saying consider the fact that next year's draft is a generation talent. You already have a really fun young core that Knicks fans like. We shouldn't be. I know it's the Knicks and they're one of the franchises that's desperate to turn their situation around, and it will happen with time. And shout out to Leon Rose and the rest of those guys, man, because they've actually done a really good job turning. Believe it or not, the Knicks have been better in recent years. And that's because they have a front office that is at least, what's the word I'm looking for? Competent. They have a front office. They finally have a front office that's competent.